The return of Manny Pacquiao to serious training has instantly brought a familiar energy back to boxing, and one of the biggest reasons fans are paying close attention is the sight of Pacquiao working again with Freddie Roach at the Wild Card Boxing Club. For longtime boxing fans, that partnership is iconic. It represents some of the most memorable nights in the sport, some of the fastest combinations ever seen in a ring, and a style that made Pacquiao one of the most exciting champions of his era. Now, with talk building around a possible second fight with Floyd Mayweather Jr., the reunion between Manny and Freddie has turned into one of the hottest topics in boxing. Freddie Roach sounds genuinely happy to have Pacquiao back in the gym. There's a natural chemistry between them that still looks completely intact, and that is part of what has made the early footage and interviews so interesting. Roach has seen Pacquiao up close again, watched him move, watched him punch, and watched him settle back into the rhythm that made him a global superstar. From his point of view, Manny still looks sharp, still looks focused, and still looks like someone who has not lost his love for the sport. That matters, because with a fighter at this stage of life and career, the biggest question is not only what the body can still do, but whether the mind and heart are still fully committed. That seems to be the message Manny Pacquiao keeps coming back to. He has made it clear that boxing never really left him. Even during the years away from the ring, he stayed active. He worked out, played basketball, played badminton, and kept himself moving. He was no longer going through full fight camps, but he never fully disconnected from the discipline that had shaped his entire life. Pacquiao has said that the break actually helped him. After spending so many years in hard camps and championship fights, that time away gave his body a chance to recover in ways it had not been able to for decades. Now, in his own words, he feels that the passion is still there, the fire is still there, and the desire to push himself is still very real. That is probably the most important part of this entire comeback conversation. Manny is not talking like someone who simply misses the spotlight. He is talking like a fighter who believes he can still perform. He has said that the reason he came back is because he realized he can still fight. He still believes in his speed, still believes in his conditioning, and still believes that the competitive part of him is alive. For boxing fans, that immediately changes the tone of the discussion. This is not being framed as a ceremonial appearance or a casual exhibition in his mind. He sounds like someone who wants to prove that his level is still meaningful. Inside the wild card gym, that belief shows up in the work. Pacquiao has been going through mitt drills with real intensity, working on timing, footwork, rhythm, and those trademark burst combinations that made him so dangerous in his prime. The videos and training sessions have created a lot of buzz because the hand speed still jumps off the screen. Even now, there are moments where his combinations still look fast, clean, and explosive. His movement still has that familiar bounce. And when he starts flowing through combinations, it is easy to understand why so many fans are getting excited again. At the same time, Pacquiao has been honest about the physical adjustments that come with age. He is not pretending his body is the same as it was when he was in his 20s or early 30s. He openly admits that recovery takes longer now. Back then, one night of rest might have been enough to feel fresh again. Now, he has to be smarter. He has to give his body more time. That honesty actually makes his comeback talk feel more believable because he is not selling a fantasy version of himself. He knows exactly where he is in life and what kind of work it takes to get ready at this point. What he seems to believe is that discipline can still bridge a lot of that gap. Manny has always been a fighter who leaned heavily on work ethic, conditioning, and mental toughness. He has spoken again about how important mindset is in training. For him, stamina is not just about lungs and legs. It is also about what happens in the mind when fatigue starts creeping in. He believes that a strong mind helps carry the body through difficult sessions, and that mentality is still central to the way he trains. As long as the desire is there, as long as the dedication is there, he feels he should keep going. That attitude has always defined Pacquiao, and it clearly still does. There is also a sense that this return is being approached with more reflection than before. Pacquiao has talked about learning from the first Floyd Mayweather fight and understanding things differently now. He has suggested that when they fought the first time, the experience did not feel completely right to him. Now, older and more mature, he seems to believe he has a better understanding of how to approach that type of moment. He sounds like a man who has replayed the past in his mind and convinced himself that this time, if the rematch happens, things could feel very different. That is where the conversation becomes especially interesting. Because as soon as Pacquiao started looking serious in camp, analysts and former fighters began revisiting the old Pacquiao-Mayweather rivalry. One of the most notable voices in that discussion has been former world champion Chris Algieri. Because Algieri actually shared the ring with Pacquiao, his opinion carries a different kind of weight. He is not speaking only as a commentator. He is speaking as someone who experienced Pacquiao's speed, pressure, and rhythm firsthand. Algieri's view is nuanced, but pretty clear. He has said that even back when Manny Pacquiao was operating at a much younger stage of his career, he never believed Pacquiao was the ideal style to beat Floyd Mayweather. That is a fascinating point because it is not based on disrespect toward Pacquiao's talent. In fact, it is almost the opposite. Algieri's point is that boxing often comes down to style as much as greatness. And from his perspective, Floyd's defensive intelligence, reactions, timing, and precision made him a uniquely difficult puzzle for Pacquiao. In other words, this was never simply about who was more exciting or who looked more dominant in their own lane. It was always about how those two styles interacted. What makes Algieri's comment stand out is that he says he came to that conclusion even more strongly after fighting Pacquiao himself. Once he had been in the ring with Manny and felt what he brings, he still believed Floyd would beat him. His explanation was that he could see openings and patterns that someone like Mayweather would be able to exploit at an even higher level. That is not something fans always want to hear, especially those who have long believed the timing of the first fight robbed Pacquiao of a real chance. But it is an important view because it comes from someone who understands the technical side of the matchup in a very personal way. At the same time, Algieri also admits that age changes everything. This is not the same Manny Pacquiao, and not the same Floyd Mayweather from a decade ago. Floyd's style relied heavily on reactions, reflexes, timing, and being just a fraction ahead of the other man at all times. Pacquiao relied on explosiveness, angles, rhythm, and fast bursts of offense. When both fighters are older, those traits may not age in exactly the same way. That opens the door, at least in theory, to a different type of fight. Algieri is not saying Pacquiao suddenly becomes a favorite, but he is acknowledging that older versions of both men could produce a different dynamic. And that is really the heart of why so many fans are still interested. It is not only about who would win a rematch. It is also about what this moment represents. A modern Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather rematch would be one of the biggest nostalgia events boxing could offer. It would take fans back through two legendary careers, reopen one of the most debated rivalries in the sport, and create an avalanche of content around every old fight, every old interview, and every old argument. In today's media environment, that kind of event would be even bigger as a conversation than it was years ago. That is something even critics of the fight understand. There are people in boxing who do not think veteran legends should keep returning to center stage when the sport has a strong younger generation waiting for attention. One of the voices making that point is Ade Oladipo, who said that while he would absolutely watch a Pacquiao-Mayweather rematch, he also feels boxing needs to let its younger stars shine. That is a fair point. The sport currently has a deep group of talented names, and many fans want to see that next generation become the focus rather than constantly circling back to legends from the past. Even so, Oladipo also understands the commercial reality. Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather are still huge names. They still command attention. They still trigger emotions in fans who remember their prime years. That kind of star power is rare, and boxing has always relied on major events driven by personality, history, and intrigue. So even people who question whether the fight should happen often admit that they would still tune in. That says everything about how powerful this rivalry remains. There is also the question of what kind of fight this would actually be if it happens. Would it be a fully serious competitive bout, or would it feel more like a high-level exhibition built on nostalgia and business? That uncertainty is part of the discussion too. Some analysts wonder about the rounds, the gloves, the pace, and what kind of shape Floyd would really be in if he were preparing for something more meaningful than an exhibition. Being in general shape and being in fighting shape are not the same thing, especially at that age. Manny, at least from what fans are seeing, appears to be throwing himself into a real training structure with serious intent. Pacquiao's side of the message is also more emotionally charged. He talks about happiness, about feeling good to be back in Las Vegas, about having joy in his heart because he gets to prepare for another big fight. That emotional connection to boxing has always been part of what made him so popular. With Manny, fans do not just see an elite athlete. They see someone who genuinely loves the process. That love becomes a major selling point in this return, because it makes the comeback feel personal and sincere rather than simply strategic. The other big thing Pacquiao keeps emphasizing is growth. He believes he has learned from the past. He believes maturity matters. He believes a version of himself stepping forward now understands more than the version that fought Floyd before. Whether fans agree with that or not, it is clearly the framework through which he is viewing this potential rematch. He does not sound like someone trying to relive the past exactly as it was. He sounds like someone trying to rewrite the ending in his own mind. Still, realism has to stay part of the conversation. This is not prime Manny Pacquiao. This is not prime Floyd Mayweather. Expectations have to be adjusted. The fight itself, if it happens, may never match the imagination fans built around it years ago. But in some ways, that may not even be the full point now. The build-up, the training footage, the interviews, the old memories, and the emotional weight of two icons crossing paths again may be what really drives the event. For many fans, that would be enough. What cannot be denied is that Manny Pacquiao has made people believe this is more than a rumor. The work at Wildcard, the reunion with Freddie Roach, the comments about still having speed and passion, and the visible seriousness in his preparation have all combined to create genuine momentum. Whether that momentum leads to Floyd Mayweather or somewhere else, it has already succeeded in putting Pacquiao back at the center of boxing conversation. And maybe that is the biggest takeaway right now. Manny Pacquiao is no longer being discussed as a retired legend who occasionally teases a return. He is being discussed as an active figure in serious training who still believes he has unfinished business. Freddie Roach looks encouraged. The gym looks alive. The combinations still look fast. The hunger still sounds real. Analysts may disagree on whether a Mayweather rematch makes sense, and fans may be divided on whether boxing should keep leaning on its veterans. But one thing is clear. Manny Pacquiao has once again made himself impossible to ignore. That is why this comeback has real energy behind it. It is not only about the opponent. It is about the image of Manny back in the gym, back beside Freddie Roach, back chasing one more meaningful moment in a career that already gave the sport more than enough unforgettable nights. And if the rematch with Floyd Mayweather actually moves from speculation to reality, boxing will once again be dealing with one of the biggest legacy-driven events it can possibly produce. Until then, every workout, every interview, and every update from Wildcard is only going to keep that